Hello lovely people, how are you all today? There's a few little swirls of wind, so here comes one now. I hope the sound's going to be alright. If you can hear a fluttering in the background, it's our pesky bird scarer, which I don't agree with. Anyway, it looks like I've got one day this week, today, in which to do all my gardening jobs, all my kitchen jobs, to just get everything done. So while I chat with you guys, just trying to get myself comfy, while I chat with you guys, I'm going to start harvesting the roquencourt, because there's masses of them and I don't want them to go to waste. So this ongoing situation I've got with my great aunt, something similar happened a couple of years ago, and I ended up being away from the plot for 6 weeks and I lost so much of the harvest. It was really heartbreaking. I don't want to lose it again this year. So I'm going to do a big pick so they don't go over. Hopefully also doing a pick will encourage a few more. I would way prefer not to freeze these. I'd rather be just picking a few every day. But the bottom line is, if I don't pick today, they're going to go over, they're going to go tough, they're going to go horrid. It's going to be a waste. So already, I'm just going to show you, if you can pick up on that. The younger ones, the more tender ones, are slightly more yellow, and as they mature, it's not too mature, they go a bit paler and they do get a little bit tougher. It's like any beans, you want to pick them young and tender. So I'm just going to pick everything today that's ready. Like I say, the situation with my great aunt is a bit of a pickle. I'm pretty sure there are many of you out there with elderly relatives, whether it's your parents or grandparents, or like me, it's an aunt, who have had similar situations. But I have to say, it's getting to the point where it's actually really exhausting me. She doesn't live near me, so it's a 6-hour round trip, which I do, at the moment I'm doing sort of 4, sometimes 5 times a week. So I leave the house at 9 in the morning, get home at 6 at night. 6 hours of that is travelling, 3 hours visiting with her. The days that I'm not visiting with her, I'm trying to sort out care, all her social needs, all her physical needs. I don't begrudge her any of it, of course I don't. I love her dearly, but it's just becoming exhausting. The latest, most ridiculous situation is that yesterday, when I was at home in London, I was busy on the phone all day trying to talk to care providers to see if I can get some care sorted out for when I'm not there. Unbeknownst to me, we had a discharge plan for Thursday, this coming Thursday. So my idea was I would go to her house on Wednesday, do a load of cooking, fill her freezer up, get milk, all those bits and pieces. Then I'd be there on Thursday for her to come home, stay with her for those first few days, by which time hopefully I'd have care in place. But yesterday, as I say, unbeknownst to me, they discharged her. She was transported home, put on her chair in the middle of the day, so she hadn't eaten since breakfast. There was no food in the house, of course. There was no milk even for a cup of tea. She actually now can't reach the tap to turn the tap on for water. So she sat until 6 o'clock, and then at 6 o'clock she pressed her emergency button. She's got a button on her, she sort of wears around her neck, and that's for when she has a fall. So she pressed it, they came, she hadn't had a fall, but she buzzed it because she wanted to be put to bed. When they arrived, of course, she was dehydrated, and they've taken her back to hospital. In the meantime, I get a really nasty, abusive phone call, absolutely berating me for not being there, for not looking after her, etc, etc. And then I explained that no one told me she was going to be discharged. So lots more phone calls last night until about 10:30, trying to find which hospital she'd gone to. Didn't get very far last night, so again from about 6 o'clock this morning I've been on the phone all morning. I finally located her. She's in an A&E at the moment. They don't know what they're going to do with her. Also, when the emergency people went round there last night, they said they saw a mouse in the house. So we're back to square one with the rodent infestation. So this morning I've been on the phone to hospitals, social workers, pest control. It just doesn't end. Sorry, I didn't mean this to be a massive moan-a-thon. And like I say, I don't begrudge her at all. It's just I don't know. I feel backed into a corner. I'm running out of ideas of how I can help her. All the social services people are telling me to put her in a home, and I keep pointing out that she's got a very, very bright mind. I can't put her anywhere. I've had 2 social workers and numerous members of hospital staff tell me that I need to move in with her to be her 24/7 carer. Which of course would be one solution. But I feel so selfish saying it. I don't want to leave my home. I don't want to leave my home, my friends, my work, my garden. You know, if I was to move in with her to become her 24/7 carer, like I say, she doesn't live in London, she doesn't live anywhere near London, I would have to give this up. And then let's say a few years down the line, let's say in 5 or 6 years' time, I can come back to London. I'd have to go on a waiting list for an allotment again. Before anyone suggests I move home with me, that's not viable because I live in a studio. I don't even have a spare room. It's a 1-room flat, a studio flat. Obviously she has in her place, which is a bungalow, over the years we've made lots of modifications. So in the bathroom, in the kitchen, everything's modified, including a hospital bed, to accommodate her. So moving her up here is not a solution. Like I say, I'm sure a lot of you guys have had these dilemmas over the years. And every time I think about what I don't want to do, as in I don't want to give up my garden, the breeze telling me don't give it up, then I just get consumed by feelings of guilt. That I should do it and I should be there. It's... I don't think any of the solutions are going to make either of us particularly happy. My heart breaks for her. I want to get her home. I want her to be at home. But I want her to be safe. I want her to be fed and watered. I want her to be able to use the bathroom with some help. Right, I'm going to stop maudling on now. get picking these. Like I say, there's loads ew, snail, there's loads to do today. So I'm going to get on with this. I'm going to pull my bootstraps up, I'm going to put on my happy face again, and let's crack through this garden today and get it in the best shape possible for me to then leave it. So that's the wee pick for today. There were probably a few more that I could have taken, but actually just bearing in mind that I now need to get these all to the kitchen and frozen, I think that will do. Now, on the subject of harvests, just popping into this shed now, I carried on with the spud harvest, and actually, as I carried on in the rows, the potatoes got better and better and better. Woo! So they had about 3 hours out in the sunshine to just help cure their skins just a little bit more, and now they need to go in a bag. So the easiest thing to do is to go along to your greengrocer and say, excuse me, do you have any spare potato sacks? So I popped into mine yesterday, day before, and asked, and they just chucked them all away. But have no fear, because, oops, I'm going to just try and get you guys in position. When I can't get hold of a potato sack, I use, there's my glasses, a bog standard newspaper. So my really lovely neighbour takes the Guardian every day, and then, bless her, she passes it on to me because she knows I'm on a budget. And you know, if I've got time, I have a read. If not, I try and find something to do with the paper or put it into the recycling. This is something I've done over the years. It could not be simpler. Roll of tape, Guardian or any other broadsheet. It's going to be noisy now. And then all I do, oh, it is really noisy, good noise though, is use the tape, I've got it in my mouth, tape down one of the long sides, like that, flip it over, fold the tape over, you're getting that, yeah, then one of the short sides, you can tell what I'm doing, can't you? I guess some of you guys may do it this way as well. I was going to do this outside on the table, it would have been easier and not sticking to the blankets in the shed, but the wind is being a bit uncooperative, shall we say. And then another long side. Scrunch it down. And hey presto, a la Blue Peter, let's find the middle. Got a paper sack? Yay! Isn't it, oh, did you really fast then? Sorry guys. Isn't it lovely when it's something so simple? So I'm going to try and do this now with, oh no, they're so heavy. Actually, it's worthwhile as you are popping all your spuds in, just to handle them one more time to check for any that have got any signs of damage, whether it's damage from your fork, we all do it, or damage from a pest of any sort. So if you've got any that look even slightly doubtful, do not store them. Get them used up, take them home, put them in a dark corner of the kitchen and get using them over the next few days. So after I've done this, I told you it's a busy day today, where the bed that the spuds came out of, I'm going to give it a little tickle over, not because I'm wanting to dig the soil or anything like that, it's really nice soil at the moment, but just to have a little scooch through to make sure I haven't left any of the little teeny tiny ones which will turn into a forest next year if I don't get them out. And if you remember, there's the little row of calendula that were in the middle of the new potatoes. I've decided they're coming out too. I've already had masses and masses of calendula flower from that bed. And the calendula, I love having it, but compared with food, it's a luxury. So I'm going to harvest the last of the calendula today and dig them out, get that bed prepped, and then we can start putting our winter stuff in. Seems crazy. I'm actually sweating today. It's another really warm day, and it seems absolutely crazy doolally to be thinking of winter when it's this warm, doesn't it? But it's all about the prep. If you remember, the brassica seed was all started, gosh, I think it was at the end of March, beginning of April. You'll see there's a little video on it earlier on in the series if you haven't seen it already. And it does seem thoroughly counterintuitive to, at the beginning of spring, be planning ahead for winter. But you all know me, I'm a planner aheader, and it means that hopefully I'll have some lovely fresh green stuff over the winter to supplement all this gorgeous stored stuff. So now I'm just going to, noisy again, I'm just going to roll the top of the bag over. So ideally I want somewhere fairly cool to store them. Believe it or not, at the moment the back end of the shed is cooler than my flat, so I will store them here for now. I've got a little area outside my flat, a sort of little half landing with a skylight window on it where I can get a bit of breeze, and that gets quite cool too. So eventually I'll just keep an eye on the heat in the hallway, but eventually I'll bring these home and I'll store them in the hall, and then they're easy peasy to grab some from. They're not going to last long. I would say, I don't know how many pounds are there. That feels like about, that feels like a 1-year-old. That feels like 10 pounds. 10 kilos, I mean, which is what, oh, I can never remember the conversion. Anyway, I think, where are we now? We're getting towards we're middle of July, hopefully middle of July, middle of August, middle of September, end of September, they might last me until, which is great, because then by the end of September I can start mucking about with the first of my main crops, which will hopefully see me through to January or February. Yay! I love this time of year. I make my own food. I don't go to the shops much. Right, busy day, cracking on. I'm going to go and harvest that calendula and get the bed ready, and then we'll go out and play with our broccoli. Yay! Absolutely gorgeous. These beautiful little flowers have put the smile back on my face. Picture, if you will, a crisp, cold, bright winter's morning. You're all wrapped up in your woolies, your scarf up to your nose, hat pulled down over your ears. You come into your garden, there's not a soul around, maybe just one or two robins for company, and you get to pick some gorgeous green stuff. I love our wintergreen stuff with their really robust flavours. Perfect for our hearty winter meals. It's that lovely time of year when we have sort of our cosy evenings indoors by the fire, reading a book, newspaper, chatting with friends. Maybe you've got a nice pub that has a roaring fire to sit with your friends. But we still have those little moments outdoors to make us just stand a bit taller and breathe a bit deeper. Oh, I love it. Back to reality and to today. It's 32 degrees now on the thermometer. So I've given this bed a bit of a tickle over. Look, it's not ideal to be doing this sort of thing in this weather. I should be at home having a siesta. I've got my water to hand. In fact, I'm going to have a slug now. So, stay hydrated, keep your hat on, have your sun cream and stuff on. I've actually drunk about 3.5, nearly 4 litres of water already, and I still can't make any fertiliser because I'm sweating so much. Anyway, job in hand. So this is the broccoli. You can see now why, I'm just trying to see if you can see on the screen why I've taken the calendula out, because it's a whole nother row of food, really important. Then I'm going to get around to the quinoa. I'm leaving the quinoa for the minute because I'm harvesting the leaves at the moment, which are really, really good. In terms of spacing, they're only about a foot apart. I tend to be a bit naughty with spacing. I tend to chuck away the textbooks and ignore the packets and pack things in much more closely together. Kind of my rationale for that is if I harvest alternate ones, that creates more space for the remaining ones to fatten up. Also, ultimately, if I really planted too closely, I can always pull a plant out. I'd rather plant too much and occasionally pull plants out than plant really sparsely and have a lot of bare soil, because bare soil's not going to feed me, is it? Because I don't eat dirt. So, let's get on and get planting. I have said it before and I will say it again, no doubt. The main thing with any of the brassicas is you want to really, really firm them in well. So, these were little plugs that I sowed the seed in, I think it was the end of March, beginning of April. They made little plugs which were then potted on. So they've got a nice little root system going there. They should be grand. So yeah, pop it in, give it a firm down, and then when you think it's in really firmly, firm it again. You see a lot of these sort of collars around that you can put around the base of the plant. I've never bothered, but I don't seem to have ever had any pest issues with my brassicas, so yeah, I'm not bothering. I will put nets over these when I've finished. Now, unfortunately, I've run out of sticks to build a frame to hang my nets over, so I'll just put the green net tunnels back over them for now. Oh, I think I've got a spare enviromesh tunnel which I'll use to get a bit more light that way. But yeah, they will need netting because of two reasons. The cabbage white butterflies will lay their eggs hatch into caterpillars eat cabbages, but also for some reason pigeons love brassicas. So yeah, if I don't get this lot netted, I could basically come back in a week's time and see little knobbly stalks. So they will definitely have some sort of covering protection as soon as I've got them all in. Firm it, Think it's really firm? Firm again. It's a good upper body workout. So I think I started today rather maudlin. I didn't mean to. And actually, just being here in the garden has perked me up no end. I did kind of mention it because first I think it was probably showing on my face first thing this morning, but also because it is the truth of my circumstances at the moment. So for all I might want to plan, for all I'm just going to try and turn you guys around a bit. No, can't. Tripod doesn't want to move. For all the best laid plans in the world, for, you know, no matter how much I would like to live my dream of basically providing all my own food, of having time to write, and so you just can't plan for everything, and there are times in life where you just have to say, look, I'm going to go forward as best I can. Maybe things aren't ideal at the moment, and maybe I feel like I'm struggling, but I know that somehow, some way, we'll get through this little passage of time. We'll come out the other side. We'll all be, me and her will be better and stronger for it. So yeah, it's like I've mentioned in previous videos that I don't want to burden you guys with everything, but I also want to be kind of truthful about how things are going. I'm generally optimistic most of the time, but every now and again the reality is it can be a bit hard. So forgive my rant this morning. Isn't it amazing what the garden can do though? I've been out here, I don't know, maybe sort of 4 hours or so, and just feel at peace again. I feel sort of refreshed and ready to tackle the next issue. So I'm going to carry on with all these guys. Then I'm probably going to do a bit of deadheading, a bit of weeding, just make sure everything's tickety-boo for me to go away. I'm just noticing actually behind you the cats have been hiding in the flint corn today. It's cute as pie. It's nice and shady in there for them. So there's loads to do indoors later in terms of processing the beans, which hopefully I'll film. I'm also going to hopefully film pea pod soup, and I'm also hoping to film some bits and pieces with calendula. That's what I'm hoping to do. Yeah, we'll get it done today. It might be a bit of a midnight cooking session, but we'll get it all done. So I will see you guys really soon. I think next time you see me I'll be in the kitchen. So in the meantime, happy winter gardening. Oh, just love those frosty mornings. You guys down under are now thinking, she can have our frosty mornings, we want her sunshine. We'll swap. Guys, I will see you all soon. Cheerio and take care. Happy harvesting, happy winter gardening, happy planning, happy everything.